Um, Schumer's fix trumps power play and the rules of the game. Power in Washington looks permanent until someone tilts the board. 1 minute, it's filibusters, continuing resolutions, and shutdown theater. Uh, the next, a move lands that makes all the old maneuvers feel primitive. That's where we are. Chuck Schumer just rolled out what he's calling a way to reopen the government. Meanwhile, Trump's circle is gaming out one of the boldest rule changes in modern politics, and Democrats can feel the floorboards creak. This isn't just about paychecks starting again. It's about who writes the next decade of American politics and whether the old brakes still work on a car that's already fishtailing. Day 38, federal workers in food bank lines, controllers missing shifts because gas money is a math problem, airport monitors blinking delayed like a metronome. A traveler mutters, "I hope Congress gets stuck in a terminal just for an hour so they finally get it." Shutdowns are pressure engines. Heat builds because it has nowhere else to go. Both sides hold their breath, counting down to the moment the other blinks. Publicly, it looks like chaos. Privately, one side usually has a playbook and the other side scrambles. On the Senate floor, Schumer pitched what sounded like common sense: reopen government now, extend ACA premium credits 1 more year, then we talk long-term costs, reasonable on paper. In practice, it's an ultimatum in a blazer. Give us the concession first, we'll discuss your priorities later. If Republicans accept, Democrats pocket a healthcare win with no structural reform. If Republicans refuse, Democrats get a clean ad line. They don't care about reopening or affordability. It's a trap framed as compromise classic Hillcraft. But while cable chyrons circled that speech, Team Trump was 3 moves down the road. Trump's Gambit, don't fix the bill, rewrite the rules. Most shutdowns turn into hostage swaps. You give this, we give that. Trump is treating this one like a referendum on the process itself. Why does it take this long to do anything? Why are federal salaries bargaining chips? How is gridlock a governing model? Which leads to the torpedo everyone sees coming, the filibuster. Plain English. The Senate's filibuster means most bills need 60 votes, not a simple majority. It's supposed to protect the minority and force compromise. In a hyperpolarized era, it often functions as a full-time break. Trump world is floating a question both parties have asked in whispers for years. What if we end it, at least for now? Not for everything, maybe not forever, but long enough to pass what a 51-vote majority is elected to do. Democrats hate that idea today, just as Republicans hated it when Democrats mused about it yesterday. That's the paradox. Everyone loves norms when they're out of power and finds urgency when they're in it. So the real question isn't, is the filibuster good? It's, who do you trust with the accelerator? The opposition's problem, noise without a solo. Democrats have notched safe territory wins and celebrated like the tide is turning. But victories on home turf aren't momentum, they're maintenance. Ask voters who leads the party, and you don't hear clarity, you hear static. Different messengers, different priorities, competing theories of how to save democracy. Meanwhile, Republicans have a singular tuning fork. Love him or hate him, Trump sets tempo. Unified tempo means faster moves, higher risk, and potentially bigger payoffs. That dissonance shows up in the places that were supposed to be progressive showpieces. Consider public clashes around immigration enforcement, city-federal friction, a mayor giving global speeches while local metrics crater and approval numbers sag. Whether you cheer the policy or not, the optics say noise, not solutions. And in shutdown politics, optics are leverage. Beneath the shutdown headlines sits a mess with a familiar label: affordability. The original promise of the ACA was simple: lower costs, higher coverage. In reality, many families watched premiums and deductibles climb. To keep the system from buckling, Washington layered on subsidies, money routed through insurers to dampen sticker shock for some enrollees. Temporary, then extended, and extended again. Now those subsidies are expiring. Schumer's one-year extension would punt the reckoning past the current crisis. Here's the rub. The dollars don't land in your pocket, they stabilize a system that keeps charging you more. Without deeper reform, another extension is a band-aid on a bill that still arrives larger next year. One senator put it bluntly, sending tens of billions to carriers with no structural fix is faith-based policy, the please behave school of regulation. Voters are catching on. You don't need a white paper when your premium letter shows up. People are feeling like extras in a drama about helping consumers, while the co-stars are government and corporate balance sheets and the filibuster. And imagine the first 100 days at full throttle. Week 1, a border security package clears at 51. Week 2, a tax restructuring follows. Week 4, a healthcare overhaul, leaner rules, new incentives. Week 6, judges, agency heads, regulatory rewrites, all moving at the speed of a majority. For one side, that's finally government that does. For the other, it's a bulldozer. And here's the boomerang, elections flip. The same rule that rockets your agenda can rocket the other team's 2 years later. Without friction, policy swings become whiplash. Long horizon planning, business, schools, cities turns into guesswork because the operating system might reboot every election. Engineers have a simple wisdom. Friction isn't always the enemy. That's finally government that does. For the other, it's a bulldozer. And here's the boomerang, elections flip. The same rule that rockets your agenda can rocket the other team's 2 years later. Without friction, policy swings become whiplash. Long horizon planning, business, schools, cities turns into guesswork because the operating system might reboot every election. Engineers have a simple wisdom. Friction isn't always the enemy. It prevents heat from becoming fire. In politics, friction slows overreach and forces at least a handshake. Remove it, and you gain velocity and risk. The crossroads, tradition versus disruption. Two worldviews are staring each other down. The system is maddening because it's a democracy. Checks and balances are supposed to be sticky. Slow beats reckless. You don't tear out the guardrails because traffic is bad. The system is broken because it's captured. Gridlock protects insiders. The only way to break the cartel is to break the rules it hides behind. You don't fix a seized engine by feathering the gas, you rebuild it. Both camps have a case. The status quo is failing too many people. But democracies rarely implode from a single bad law. They degrade via 1,000 temporary shortcuts that become permanent muscle memory. Trump's leverage used the crisis to change the clock speed. Classic disruptor play. Never waste a perfectly visible failure. If Congress can't pass a basic funding bill without weeks of brinkmanship, maybe the problem isn't partisan temperament, it's the process architecture. Use the shutdown to prove that the old machine can't meet modern demands. Then sell a new machine. Fewer choke points, time box debate, majority rule for key priorities. That pitch lands because pain concentrates attention. People will accept radical change when they're hurting. They defend norms when they're comfortable. Team Trump is reading that psychology, not just the polls. The risk ledger, upside of ending the filibuster, action replaces ritual. Voters see delivery, not just rhetoric. Accountability sharpens. You can't blame the process if you hold the gavel. Downside, speed amplifies mistakes. Minority voices lose leverage. Policy volatility spooks investment and planning. The next majority inherits and uses the same canon. Upside of keeping it. Cooler heads symptoms prevail. Overreach is harder. Durable compromises can survive elections. Downside, paralysis gets laundered as prudence. Shutdowns become normalized leverage. Voters learn to expect less and get it. This isn't an academic panel. Your premiums, your taxes, your Social Security COLA, your airport line, your neighborhood staffing level, all of it is downstream of process. Change the rules, and you change the speed of change in your life. Keep the rules, and you probably keep your frustrations too. Stability has a cost, so does movement. So ask better questions than Trump or Schumer. Ask, what problems am I actually trying to solve? Which process gets me solutions without wrecking the guardrails? If the rule change I like today is used by my opponents tomorrow, do I still like it? Because personnel comes and goes, procedures linger. I'm not here to hand you a team scarf. I'm here to say the quiet part clearly. This moment is about the clock speed of American governance. If you think the country needs decisive action and can absorb the shocks, you'll cheer the end of the filibuster. If you think we're one rash sprint from a face plant, you'll defend it even when it protects policies you hate. Either way, watch the x-rays, not the speeches. Does Congress extend subsidies and enact structural cost fixes or just kick the can? Do airports normalize because workers get paid or because rules change? Do mayors focus on local delivery or chase global microphones? Do companies expand where the rules feel stable or pause and wait for the next swing? Budgets, leases, hiring plans, that's where reality votes. So protect the system and live with the drag, or rebuild the system and live with the risk. End the filibuster and govern at full speed, or keep it and force compromise at half speed. Tell me where you are on that spectrum. Burn it down and rebuild, guardrails over gas pedal, or fix the engine without junking the car. If this helped you map the trade-offs, tap like, subscribe, and drop a comment with the one rule you change first and why. We'll keep tracking how this plays out, what month 3 shutdown looks like, what a post-filibuster Senate would actually do, and what history says about countries that change their clock speed and live to brag or to warn. None of this is normal. Don't let it become background noise.